Okay, we're back in time for this little happy chappy to gush more about the HBO Last of Us adaptation. We're going to talk about what happened, what you might have missed, and how close to the game this is. As always, spoilers for up to Season 1, Episode 2 of The Last of Us, but not beyond that, so buckle up, buckaroos, it's time to jump in. The first episode last week was named When You're Lost in the Darkness and focused very much on Ellie. She was the light and the hope of the story. In this episode, it's called Infected and has so many more meanings. Starting with Jakarta. I instantly got excited when Jakarta popped up on screen. It's dated 2 days before the outbreak hits Joel and Sarah in the previous episode, so I figured that we were going to learn a lot more about how it started. I was super right. In the games, the fungi started in a mold in South America, but in the show, it started with flour. It was a good move to frame the outbreak as starting in Jakarta, seeing as that's where the biggest flour mill in the world is. Although a lot of people who are a lot cleverer than me have already suggested this hypothesis since episode 1 aired, and I'm really happy they're correct. The super switched on realised that Joel, Sarah and Tommy avoided flour products like pancakes, raisin cookies and birthday cakes in the previous episode. I like it when TV shows let you try and figure it out yourself, you know, rather than changing everything so it makes no sense just to subvert your expectations. Yes, I'm making a dig about this every week. We're introduced to Dr. Robata, who just wanted to have her lunch before the army came in and shit all over her day. She is the leading Indonesian expert in mycology, which is the study of fungi. What a way to spend your life, I say as my broke ass cries into a glass of wine. I can see by the clear bullet hole in naked zombie lady's head that this wasn't going to happen, but literally every second of the scene I thought that Dr. Fungi was going to get her fingers bitten off. Ugh. This scene is simple and it gets the job done. It's also impossible to edit around due to the fully naked dead lady, so I don't want to talk about this any longer than I have to. In the opening scene of the previous episode, we're told that should fungi mutate and infect humans, we're all fucked. We're starting our second episode in exactly the same way. It's a chilling reminder to the audience that there is no hope. From there, we immediately cut to Ellie, which is a foreshadowing masterclass. She's so angelic and light is literally shining down on her like a goddamn messiah, suggesting she is the hope that we keep getting told doesn't exist. The nice addition of the butterfly is also cool. If Encanto has taught me anything, it's that butterflies mean change and rebirth. The transition between this scene and the last scene, along with the clip of Ellie sleeping, tells us so much and nobody's even saying anything. God, this programme is so good, man. However, did anyone else laugh at the look on Joel and Tessa's face when they panned to watching Ellie sleep? I know I wasn't the biggest fan of Bella Ramsey to begin with, but now I'm absolutely loving Show Ellie. I love how innocent and juvenile she is, especially when she's threatened by 2 adults. They told me not to tell anyone, but I'd tell the first person that asks. It's such a child response, and it reminds us how innocent Ellie is in all this. We're just going to take a couple of moments to talk about how bloody beautiful the set is. It's actually amazing. Some shots look like they've been taken straight from the game. I love that certain places like the restaurants are frozen in time and completely juxtaposed with the busy restaurants that we saw in the opening scene. So as we mentioned last week, the parasitic spores which spread the infection in the game have been removed from the TV show. However, they've been replaced, and I must say I love the change. I was sceptical at first, but now we've been told that the fungi tendrils can stretch for miles underground. This means that you can be tracked by zombies that aren't in the immediate vicinity. This is such a good idea as it adds an extra level of threat to the journey that you just wouldn't have gotten from fungal spores. The hotel scene is the one which mirrors the game the most, I think, and I love that we find out that Ellie can't swim. Although I'm really hoping I don't have to sit through hours of Joel doing crap jumping puzzles to find Ellie something to float on in the coming episodes. I particularly like the disgust on Joel's face when he helps Ellie away from Mr. Skelly Boy. At this point, he clearly still thinks that she's going to turn at any moment. He doesn't trust her and he doesn't like her. Tess is my favourite, and I hate that this is her final episode. I love how much more fleshed out she is compared to the games. She and Ellie are easily able to bond and converse, which just highlights again how different Joel is compared to the person he once was. Ellie and Joel do not like each other, and it's hard for them to actually put up with each other. Tess seems to have a lot more hope for a cure compared to Joel, and just generally has a less bleak outlook. Because of this, I think she's able to see Ellie as a person and not just cargo. This leads me on to my favourite scene in the whole episode. The scene in the museum is 10 minutes long and the tension builds perfectly. The one I expressed last week for more zombies was fulfilled, and I subsequently shit myself and spent these 10 minutes hiding under a duvet. The clickers are honestly the creepiest thing in the game and so far in the show. Just this sound alone is enough to make me cry. The scene starts in the dark and builds up using the haunting creeper sounds and teasing us with the zombie. I love that you never directly see the thing until, well, you know, you definitely see the thing. But before this moment, it's out of focus or out of shot or seen through other objects. It's a masterclass of jump scares. It's perfectly built up so that when you do get the big boo, it's the most effective part of the scene. There's over 6 minutes of build up before the payoff, and at no point do you think, God, this is boring. You're waiting for it and you know it's going to happen, but that doesn't make it any less satisfying when it does. Such a good scene. Also, as an add-on, I found it interesting that Joel instinctively becomes more parental when Ellie is in danger. Not too long ago, he was visibly recoiling from her, but now he's grabbing her, pulling her, shielding her, and protecting her to keep her away from the clicker. The aftermath of this scene shows that Ellie has been bitten again. This doesn't happen in the game, but I feel like it's a really smart addition to the show as it helps convince Joel later how important Ellie is, but it's also for this moment. Look at that guilty face. She knows how royally fucked she is, but she's desperate to see the end of the mission to deliver Ellie safely. We know from the exposition in the previous episode that her bite being between her neck and her torso means that she probably has like less than 2 hours to live. Rip Tess. Let's get some 07s in the comments, please. This is something that the smart viewers could have guessed anyway, even if you missed the guilty look. From here on out, Tess is a lot shorter with Joel and refuses to stand too close to him and Ellie. This show is full of tiny little details like this and reward the viewer for paying attention. I love it. I love it.
So good, it is so good.
In the game, when we find out the Fireflies are dead, it's at the hands of Fedra. This has been changed in the show to a zombie bite, which made everyone turn on each other and kill each other. I think it was smart. It doesn't let the audience forget the looming danger and is constantly reminding us that saving Ellie is the most important thing. Like in the game, Ellie clocks that Tess is infected. Tess in this episode is everything. She is the glue that keeps this strange little gang together, and her death makes her more determined than ever to believe that there is a cure. She does her heart-wrenching little speech, I cry, and now Joel is forced to take the mantle. Save who you can save. Oh, what a line, what a performance. Oh, well done again. Joel makes up his mind and does not look back. It's awful and it's fantastic. The last thing I wanted to mention was the parallels between the game and the show in shot and dialogue. There's far too many to put in one video, but I thought it was worth just highlighting again because it's clear that real care and consideration has been put into small aspects of this show. At this point, I'm convinced that this series is going to be everything I hoped for and more because of the tender love and care that's gone into it. Thank you, Craig and Neil. I think they finally have broken the video game curse. Join me next week for more zombie loving. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched and liked my other Last of Us videos so far. Make sure you don't miss next week's by subscribing, and if you want more of my potty mouth, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so pop by and say hi. As always, press all the buttons, do all the things, and I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo! I need to sing a stupid happy little catchy song because YouTube is stupid and it gets it wrong. So if they try to copyright claim this right now, it just goes to show it's all a big cash cow.